This is my persuasive speech on embryonic stem cells. In the introduction, I would like to persuade that stem cell research is beneficial to everyone. Based upon recent studies of stem cells, research, possible cures, and controversy are outcomes. Let me give you a brief definition of stem cells so I can better clarify my stance on the issue. Stem cells are cells in biology that can replicate through mitosis. Next slide. This means that they can multiply on their own and produce more stem cells. Because of this process, their benefits can have enormous effects, from research to one day find cures for the most dreaded diseases. As you can see on slide 1, for research, it talks about phase 1 clinical trials, and those clinical trials were approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Basically what it was a patient that was implanted with the stem cells in the brain and the spinal cord, and that is the first ever human trial of a stem cell. That happened in Atlanta, Georgia. It happened in 2011, and presently that patient is she's still in the hospital. There's not been enough research at this moment to see the value or the effects from the stem cell research. But that's just according to the first ever human trial of stem cells. Okay. Did you know that because of research, there are already treatments that exist from embryonic stem cells? One such example is bone marrow transplants, which is used to treat leukemia. These are stem cells from blood, from the umbilical cord, and from bone marrow. According to Wikipedia, researchers are already studying ways to improve their fight against spinal cord problems and injuries, cancer, heart and muscle damage, Parkinson's disease, ALS, MS, and Alzheimer's disease. These are just numerous diseases that are mentioned that can benefit from the use of stem cells. As you can see, embryonic stem cell research should increase because potential treatments could help millions of people every day. According to Lawrence Goldstein in Perspectives on Diseases and Disorders of Alzheimer's Disease, research in embryonic stem cells is a vital field that promises huge breakthroughs in complex diseases and disorders. Mr. Goldstein lobbied to the U.S. Senate and received federal funding for stem cell research in fighting Alzheimer's disease. This disease affects millions of elderly people living in the United States and all over the world. This terrible disease robs the thinking capabilities and dignity of loved ones. Not only are the elderly affected, but younger people are attracting the disease. This gives supporting evidence to encourage research. Next slide, please. My second main point is possible cures. As you can see from the next slide, possible cures has a long range of factors. Possible cures as a result from research. Imagine that the possibilities if you or someone in your family have a hereditary disease. This disease could be stopped one day that would keep you and your family from enjoying a wonderful lifestyle together because of a cure. Society is more health conscious today than ever before. There are exercise and diet programs available for a particular lifestyle. The demand from society will be to encourage cures of diseases and disorders. Technology will become more advanced to get caught up with the demand to find answers from our health problems. According to David E. Newton in DNA Technology, genetic testing in diseases such as Huntington's disease helps pave a way to find a breakthrough for treatment. As of today, the disease is incurable, but advances in technology are getting closer. Huntington's disease is a genetic disorder that affects loss of coordination and the nervous system. Also, for the last point is about government laws that could change for the future. The president before the one that we have now, President Bush, kind of did not really encourage the use of stem cells. He believed that because of religion that it was not appropriate. I believe that President Obama, on the other hand, does support the use of some stem cells. I will go over to the next factor. We're getting into the third factor, which is controversy. Next slide, please. My third and final point is controversy. Does embryonic stem cells violate life? This is probably the biggest issue in covering the controversy. According to Ronald Lindsay in Human Embryo Experimentation, he believed that human embryos were just groupling of cells. Mr. Lindsay talked about where government at times oversteps their bounds. He referred to a federal district court judge that had issued an injunction blocking federal funding for embryonic stem cell research. The issue with most people is a moral one. It is better not to involve is it better not to involve medicine in helping someone? Is it better to have someone else always tell you what is best for you? Personally, I believe it makes no logical sense to sit back and let people suffer if we have the means to help them. As a nurse, I see a person go through pain and sorrow. I would not want a government telling me not to at least try and help someone when you can see the debilitating effects that diseases can cause. It is worth it to watch a group of cells die, but you can save millions of people in the process. I believe that positive outcomes outweigh the negative ones. Setting a limit on time when you can extract an embryo may be the best choice for a joint agreement. And this was on the controversy. This was most of the issues like I have on this slide was religion versus medicine. And most of the people in religion were concerned about how far is too much. You know, what's the limit? How far are we going to go? Okay, next slide. In conclusion, with research, possible cures, and controversy, you are educated on embryonic stem cells. I believe that through research we gain knowledge of the problem. Next slide, please. With research, it provides cures. Cures can help everyone live a longer and beneficial life. Through controversy, a healthy debate can correct any problems that may arise from this situation. Know the positive sides of the issue. Thank you. Any questions? Have to have 3. Yes, Chris.
Is there actually any known instances where stem cells have actually proven to make huge strides in somebody?
The only one through my research was the one about the bone marrow transplant for people that have leukemia. That is actual a stem cell procedure. The one that I was telling you about the lady in Atlanta, there has not been enough time of the research to see if she's benefited. She's benefited some. She had some movement, I think, in her leg with the spinal cord area, but they said that there's not been enough research totally to confirm that.
Is that what Christopher Reeve, the guy who played Superman, is that what he was experimenting with as well with stem cells?
He was, and I believe he was quadriplegic, if I'm not mistaken. He was paralyzed from the neck down. And another thing, being a quadriplegic, that will open you up for other diseases. And I think because he could not move as much, he unfortunately got bed sores and stuff, and it opened him up for infection. So I think stem cells definitely benefit, you know, in a positive way. Next question. Most people, in my opinion, that believe against it, it's a religious or moral right. They feel like you're violating a life, that you're taking a life that's in a petri dish and you're basically destroying it. And they believe religiously in their faith that is against God or against, you know, their God who they believe in. I think that's where the big issue is. Kind of like with abortion. That's always a touchy subject, and I believe stem cells also is a very emotional subject. Was it 3? Okay. Fantastic.